and welcome to another episode of Faith Dialogues. Faith Dialogues is where we talk about faith and how faith has impacted people's lives. Today, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest. Before I let her introduce herself, I just want you guys to know that it is an honor to have her on our set. We are so grateful. We are so glad. We are giving glory to God for allowing us to have this conversation. And I believe that you will be impacted, that you will be touched, and your faith is going to be built up. So, karibu sana to our set.
Thank you very much.
Please tell us your names.
My name is Veronica Osogo. I am a former tennis player. I am currently a tennis coach. I am the head usher at Grace Chapel, and my passion is sports. I am a tennis player, and one of the things that I love about myself is I'm self-driven, and let me also say I'm born again.
Nice, nice. It is good to have you with us, Veronica. Karibu sana.
Asante.
You said tennis player, tennis coach. Tell us, how did this begin?
My tennis, I started when I was in India. I had gone for my studies. And then let's just say that God uses different ways for you to reach where He wants you, take you where He wants you to be. So in high school, I was more in hockey at Pangani Girls. And then I also loved running. And when I went to India, we had actually when I moved to, I was in New Delhi looking for a college. Then for some reason, the education attaché then said that I should go to a place called Amritsar in Punjab.
Okay.
Now, when I drove in, or when I was on the rickshaw, I saw a field on the left, beautiful field. And I felt in my heart that I was not born again, but I felt God saying, this is a place you're going to do your studies.
Okay.
And I just loved the field. Then at the university, we had tennis, there was football, there was hockey, and I was more for hockey. But I used to break my spectacles all the time. Then with time, it was just not working. Okay. So the university had one tennis court. So let's just say that I didn't know what tennis was. I had never seen tennis. For me, this was a foreign sport. And let's thank God for these young men who come and feel they want to date you. There was a young man.
Okay.
So he said, I want to take you somewhere, because he knew I loved sports. Then I said, good idea. So he took me on the tennis court. And that is where everything started.
Interesting.
Yes.
I was wondering, because, well, I'm not very sporty, but I kind of follow some news. And I was wondering, how did this lady get into tennis those many years ago? Now I understand. So what did you study in India?
I did Bachelor of Science in Economics.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you used that?
No. No.
Okay.
After my degree, I just went for sports. My heart is on the tennis court. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. I'm liking the way I'm seeing the traces of God. I like what you said, that you were not born again, but you heard Him say, this is it.
Yes.
So this young man took you to the court?
Yes.
Did you begin playing that day?
Yes, I began. We had wooden rackets. These are very unique, the ones you're seeing here. There were some wooden rackets. Okay. And then he'd take me there, and I'm just wondering, what is this I'm playing? You know? Then I used to watch a lot on TV. There were two players then coming up, Venus and Serena Williams. Now that one for me was a killer. Okay. They had those nice tennis cloths, and I'm like, this looks very nice. And then whenever they hit the ball, there was a sound they made. Then I said, this is my sport. So I'd watch, then I go to the field to play. We didn't have many tennis players there then. It was just the young man trying everything he can. But thank God, he tried. But he just put me where I am today by God's grace and mercy. So my heart was, and I'd watch TV, then I go and play. Then about 2000, I came back after my degree. Then I started, you know, you're looking for work, and there's no work. A friend of mine introduced me to beauty products. Imagine me selling mafuta ya urembo. It was very difficult. It was very difficult. Now, this is what I'd do. I'd come with my tennis bag. There were tennis courts at Railway Club. Now they are not there anymore. Very sad. I'd go, put my bag, I give the receptionist. Immediately the boss is out of the office, even me, I'm out. Because I just couldn't stay at the place. I would sell the stuff, but that was not my calling.
Was not
yes,
there.
My heart was not there.
Okay.
Then interestingly, one time I used to work with a certain young lady. I think she was called Jessie. Then we're in the streets. Then she called me, said, a friend of hers came and said, this is my friend, her name is Janet, and she's a tennis player. And she can introduce you to other places where there's tennis.
Okay.
And I said, what? So I asked Janet, hey, why do you play? And then she told me. Then now she took me where tennis now is being played at public service. From Relo Club, I went to public service. From then, I never turned back.
Okay.
To this day. God used somebody, a friend, to get a friend in the streets to now take me where everything was happening. So since then, I played tennis for my country. At least I played all African games and the Federation Cup, Fed Cup, which is now the Billie Jean King. It was renamed to Billie Jean King. So I'd be out there playing. Imagine I would go, I'd leave. Then, of course, our parents, maneno ya sports was zero.
Why I want us to talk a little bit about that.
Why are you in sports? So let's just say that my love for sports, and to be specific, tennis, is the reason why I'm here today.
Okay.
But my mom would not give me fare. Kutoka Komarok, ni kuje public service. You know, immediately she'd give me money like this. My face would just light up. Then I'm like, I'm getting out of this place. And I would look at her face, just like, really? You know? So there were just hitches then, because people didn't understand. But I enjoyed my tennis. And there was no money because my mom didn't understand why I'm on a tennis court. And secondly, I lost my dad when I was very young, so she's been on her own with 7 of us.
Wow.
So do I give you money for sports, or do I feed you guys and take you to school? So definitely I would never go to her for money to go anywhere. I'd leave. Then we used to have tournaments called the ITF circuits, money circuits.
Okay.
You don't get much. Maybe you get about 5,000 then, and 5,000 is a lot of money. So because there's no flight, we take a bus. So if you have a tournament in, for example, Tanzania, I'd go for the farthest. Okay, if it's East Africa, we'd go Uganda. Then they put a circuit in Burundi. Then Rwanda. So
what is a circuit?
A circuit will be many tournaments linked, so that it's easier for the players to go for the circuit. No, as opposed to going to a country for 1 week, you can go 3 weeks. You are away from home and you're going to different countries. So we'd start from Uganda. We play for 1 week. Then we go to Rwanda 1 week, and then we go to Burundi. Burundi was a war-torn country. And to be honest, we never feared the bullets.
Wow.
Yani to this day, I don't know.
The love for sports. You're
in the car, and then when you reach a certain area in Burundi, you'd hear gunshots on both sides. So mnastopisho katikati. And to be honest, I never feared that I'd die. You're just like, kama mbaya mbaya. So at one point, you're going to Burundi, and then my friend said, you know, if you die doing what you're meant to do, then that is okay. It was the only time I was very scared. But this young man from Zimbabwe, we used to have many players from Zimbabwe. We'll just go as a group, so it's manageable. So that day I was scared. I'm like, hey, now if the bullets come, this matatu, what will happen? You know, he just told me, look, if you die doing what you're doing and you're at your best, then so be it. Nikaingia hiyo gari. Found myself in Burundi. Okay. Then we'd also have circuits in Southern. I'd go to, East, we start from Tanzania. Then we take a train until Zambia. From Zambia, we'd go to Zimbabwe. From Zimbabwe, we'll go to South Africa by road. Then we'd move down to Botswana. Then we'll go to Lesotho. Then we'll go to Swaziland. Then Mozambique.
Wow.
Barabara. You have no money. In short, this is how we are surviving. We get somebody at the club, tunaongea nae, and then we just say, you know, if you get us a place to stay even in your house, even on the floor, We'll just come, all of us. We'll buy our own food, just give us somewhere to stay.
Wow.
Na uko Mozambique, ukiangalia map, there's no way I can come back to Kenya and have no fare, because I was not a good tennis player then. I was learning on the circuit.
Okay.
So unapigwa first round, that means there's no money. So you're depending on your friends. So how honestly I survived,
it is God.
It was by God's grace.
Okay.
And that is why I am here today, still in this sport. Yes.
Now, before we go to the next phase of this, I'd like to trace something. There was a young man who introduced you to, to sports.
Yes.
Then there was a lady on the streets who introduced you to someone else.
Yes.
So what you're saying is, sometimes God places people along your path. These are what we call destiny helpers. So, ukiitwa date, enda tu. You never know what will come out.
Yes.
You might not marry that person, but they might get you on track to where God wants you.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about your mother. She was not very comfortable, but is she now? And how did that transition happen?
You see, every time, as I said, when I would be in the house seated. Yani natama kufika kwa tennis court, but I can't. I don't have money. And then, you know, sometimes I believe God will just touch and like, okay, take this. Then immediately I stand up, change, and run out. If it's 100 shillings from Komarok to public service, that means at least I will get fare for to and fro.
Yeah.
But in between Stakula, because the money is not enough. So I'll be at the tech club the whole time. Then sometimes she'd get very angry. And she'd tell me, you know, your friends are in offices on leather seats and you are busy chasing the dust. So the day she said that, I was just like, you know, I can't talk back to my mom. So I just like, And it hit me. Actually, I left also frustrated. I left the house frustrated. It's true. I'm seeing most of my friends are doing very well.
Yeah.
So, you know, already when your mother is saying that, it's just like what you're doing is neither here nor there. Then with time, she saw I'm flying out of the country.
Flying or driving?
No, flying, like Nandeg.
Okay. Eventually you got to that place.
Yes, now she started seeing every time I'm out, I'm at the tennis court. I didn't have friends because my life was far away from Komarok. The only friends I had is when I was going to church on Sunday, but Monday to Saturday, hawanioni. And when I have tennis events, they will not see me for a very long time. Okay. Then now with time, my mom was just like, oh, maybe this thing is helping. I'm not in trouble. I'm not pregnant. I'm not a troublemaker, because every time I come, I'm extremely tired. I just want to sleep. Then the following morning, I'm out of the house. Okay. Now, she was just like, she was mark timing, eh? She's just like, okay, let me see how this thing goes. Then with time, I came and told her, oh, we are going out. We're going to play a tournament. I don't know, a certain place. She doesn't ask, where is the money? Who's giving you that money? Who is going? I just say, give me permission. Then I go. It's a road trip. Then with time, I'm joining Kenya team. Then there I'm renewing my passport. Our passport bado hawana. I'm the person traveling most of the time. Yes. And then now, I fast forward. Then I started the organization.
Okay, before we get into that, I'd like you to look into the camera and speak to parents. Parents who have children who are chasing dust instead of that leather seat. Encourage them.
You know, for me, I'd tell the parents that if your child has a desire to be in a sport, let's say it's football, it's rugby, whichever sport, you don't honestly need to discourage them, because you don't know what God wants to do in the child's life. For me, today my mom looks back and she wishes, you know, she just like, I'm sure sometimes she says, it's good I never stopped her. She might not have supported me financially, because then the environment or the situation was school. Sports was nothing to go by. Support that child. Give her or him anything that can help them advance in the sport. Because I will tell you today, most people are, for example, getting unemployed. Let's look at the COVID season. The COVID season was very tough for people. People were being retrenched. There was just a lot of chaos. For me at that time, the people who did well, the people who prevailed were sports people. On my side, I did not lack. In fact, I was out in the streets, we were getting food products to give to the families that were in need at that time. And on my part, God had provided through sports, because people would call, we want to be trained, just fitness, and then you earn. And then tennis, not being a contact sport, would be always out there. So I would honestly say at that time, as a sports person, I benefited. For your children, even for the physical part, you won't have this kid being in and out of hospital, because they are always somewhere training. When they're out there, they're having good friends. I was never in bad company. That was one of the things that I thank God to this day. The people I was working with had the same vision, and I didn't find my mom stressed, struggling. This day and age, we're talking about drugs, we're talking about immorality, we're just talking about so many things that are going on. If you allow this child to be in the sports area, they're going to be mentored, they're going to go to different environments, be it locally, just in Kenya, or be it outside the country. You as a parent, you might end up being supported. Today, you need to look at Ferdinand Omanyala. I look at that young man, where he is now. He is sitting with people he would have never sat with if he was not a sports person. So my encouragement is pray for them, support them, take them where that tournament is, go and see what they are doing, sit with them. When they lose, be a shoulder to lean on. When they win, be part of the celebration. And to be honest, you can never go wrong with sports. I am a witness. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with the parents. Now, we spoke about you coming back to Kenya, but we don't know at what point you gave your life to Jesus. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I actually gave my life when I was in India. Must be 1999 when I was in India.
Wow.
I was going through a very hard time.
Okay.
Very hard time. I had spiritual attacks. Warfare was crazy. Let's just say, as a young person out there, you're exposed to too many things. Mm-hmm. And I'm also from a very big family and political family. Uh-huh. And maybe there are other things that were speaking at that time, mm-hmm. for those who know about deliverance and things like that. Then one time I was tormented, like extremely tormented. And I'm alone. Mm-hmm. No, I had my sister, but I was in Amritsar. She was in New Delhi. Then one time I came to New Delhi and I was just like, hey, if something doesn't happen, I was just like, if I'm not helped, mm-hmm. I'll honestly die.
Yeah. I
was in the room. And then I just heard a voice telling me, say you're surrendering to Jesus. And I said, I'm surrendering to Jesus. Mm-hmm. And there's a power that hit me I'll never forget. I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. Then from there, I met a pastor, Pastor Kumar, who prayed for me and said, we need this girl to go back to Kenya. What she's going through needs prayers and deliverance. Okay. And I hadn't finished my degree. Mm-hmm. So I just had to persevere. 2000 and I'm done. I just came back. Okay. So when I came back, I just came back a troubled child, going through a lot of stuff. Then I renewed, like just before the church. Mm-hmm. Must have been 2000 when I came back. I was at Nairobi Lighthouse. Okay. And let's just say since then, I've never looked back. Wow. To this day, yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Guys, did you hear that? She got born again in India.
Yes.
Like Jesus is everywhere. So even you today, if you do not know Jesus yet, and you are hearing this story, and you can hear a voice telling you, the Bible says that, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Just open that door. Yes. Let him in. It doesn't matter where you have been. It doesn't matter what you have done. Christ wants you just as he is. And if you would like to make that decision, just do it. Tell him, yes, come in. And you can leave a comment and someone will get in touch with you. Okay, we'll continue with the story. So now you have gone through these circuits. You have gone through almost the whole of Africa, mm-hmm. by bus.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing stuff. People, when you follow your dream, It will take you places. At what point did you get into the national team?
Maybe it's many years. I'm just trying to see when that was. But let's just say my first trip, the assignment that I had the first one, but just know all these selections, it's totally unfair. You can't be in a team and you're dropped because everybody is fighting for that space. And
so sometimes there were many tennis players?
Yes, there were many tennis players then, and you're thinking you're part of the team and you'll not be part of that team. The one I had, the first one was All African Games, maybe 2007. The one you're supposed to go, and then all of a sudden they just picked somebody else, and then you're angry and you're just like, God, why am I here? But I did get a chance in 2011 for All African Games, Maputo. That was the first one. You know, to just be out there and see what normally happens, meet different athletes from different countries. Then I did get a chance to be at the Fed Cup, the Federation Cup, currently Billie Jean King in Egypt. And then the rest of the events I was just representing as when they're locally in the country, or when the circuits will still be there as Kenya team, even if you're supporting yourself. So it was quite, it was a good season then when it happened. I enjoyed myself, I made friends. I just had I would say I had a very, very, very good time. Yeah.
Nice. So when you were flying out of Kenya, now you've already done the rounds in the buses, but a time came when you were flying. It was not only for the national team, it was for other...
Mostly it was for the national team. But actually the first time I even flew out before tennis was when we used to have quiz. I don't know if anybody, you remember quiz? We used to have quiz on TV, or you are this generation. There used to be quiz on TV, where the different zones would have a question, educational.
Oh, not sports.
No, it was education. That's the first time I left, actually, at 14. Then these other ones I've just started now when I'm in tennis. Yeah, so that I jumped into the plane earlier because of education, and then now because of tennis.
All right.
Yes.
So what are your most memorable moments in playing tennis?
Of course, the circuits that I used to do without money, and the moments I was penniless and my friends have to feed me. And definitely when I went for All African Games, that was, I mean, it was just big for me. And the Federation Cup. And mostly when I've just gotten the chance to, even if I don't fly, to be part of wearing my jersey. In fact, every time I used to look at the jersey, I'm like, one day, Lord. I think for me the highlight is to wear the Kenyan jersey. Besides traveling and going for the competition that I really desire to go for, wearing the Kenyan jersey, representing my country.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Kenyan jersey?
Yes.
For tennis?
No, just when you go for the trip. This one I was given when I was taking the junior team for a tennis tournament. Should be in Uganda. Yeah, so every time you're a coach of a team or you're a player, your main player, normally there's kitting. Yes, there are days there's kitting, there are days there's no kitting. So when you get it, you're just like, this is big.
So kitting for the sake of those viewers, not me, but the viewers who don't know, what is kitting?
No, you know, when you're in Kenya team, they give you the tracksuit, they give you the t-shirts, branded Kenya. So they give you the shoes, and you know when you're walking, you're feeling, you're carrying the nation. When you're out there, and of course, when you're about to board, when you're waiting for the flight, what I like about the air hostesses, once they see you in the truck and you're a team, you're the first people to enter the plane.
Wow.
Once they're down with the, let's say, the business class, you'll be the first. They'll make sure Kenya team, the first they announce that Kenya team is there and they are traveling.
Wow.
And then you're told to go in first before the rest are told to be in.
Wow.
So when you're there and it's like, you're just like, hey, God, this is This is the moment. It makes you feel very nice because you're dressed and they can see. And they're like, oh, when you go, please, you're representing us. Mulete hizo vikombe. And you're just like, yes. Because when you're going to a battlefield, you don't go to lose. You go to win.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. So if you are selling beauty products, you just go with your whatever and nobody will recognize you.
Yeah, my beauty products in my bag and I'm trying to convince. That one I tried. That was grace then. Yeah. But ladies love stuff, so you won't come back with them.
True.
You just tell them, mafuto kipaka, or they love their faces, you know, you will shine. You're just going to be looking unique in the market. And then once it enters, you sell it and... Yes.
Okay. That's wonderful to hear. I'm so happy to hear that about... I think she looks very nice. Don't you agree? And I actually love it when I see people dressed in the Kenyan colors. I thought for sports, for different sports, they get different kits. But anyway, they look amazing either way. So if you're a sports person, pursue it. You just might get into the plane before the rest of us who never played. Yeah. Any regrets? No, there's nothing for me to regret about. I am where God wants me to be. Wow. There are definitely challenges. Like I'd said earlier, you're in Kenya, you're in the team. You think you're in the team. You have trained so hard for months. Somebody else will be picked and they'll be in that team and there's nothing you'll do. It will break your spirit. You'll want to quit. And you're just like, Lord, one more time. One more time. Wow. I was just explaining to Joanne that at one time I decided to quit. And God nearly hit me down. Wow. It was, I was telling her that I was angry about something. I was telling God, this is not working. And I want to leave it. And I kept on being sick the whole time. So one time I went to the doctor and the doctor looked at me and said, you've not been coming here, but you're so frequent. What were you doing again before? What were you doing before? What I used to do before? I said, tennis. He said, go back there. I don't want to see you here again. What? Yeah. Amazing. That saved my life. Yes, I was quitting. I was just like, I'm done. I can't keep on trying to be in Kenya team and somebody else comes and take over. I'm there present every day training. Somebody else will get the allowance. They will do maybe kitting. You're being given ile tu ya sparring. So it was not working. Yeah, that doctor, God used the doctor to bring me back to reality. Wow. And to continue what God wanted me to do. Okay. Yeah. Did you hear that? That's another person, another destiny helper. Yeah. But so. I see God putting you in tennis. Like when you wanted to quit, God used a doctor to bring you back. He really wanted you in tennis. Yes. All right. So after you stopped playing, what next? After I stopped playing, actually in the process of playing, I had a neighbor who had a daycare in Kibera. We had just moved. We're in Komarok, we moved to Ngumo because then the fare was too much and were many kids. And Mrs. Osogo was just wondering, how do these kids survive? So I wanted a place that is near town, so that we can just walk if she doesn't have a transport for us. So we moved to Ngumo. Then just behind us, there's the slum. Now I came to know it's Kibera. My neighbor had a program, a daycare for the children inside. And she kept on telling me, please come. Please come and do something with these children. Just teach them this game, do anything. Then for me, I would just tell her, hey, me, I've heard Kibera is bad. Nikiingia uko ndani kutoka ndakuwa maiti. So I don't want. But she kept on knocking. So eventually 2006 I walked in. It had rained. So I said, let me go and see what is this thing that this lady keeps insisting. I walked in. I said, my mom was poor, but hatujaishi maisha kama hii. This is terrible. You know, I actually questioned myself that in this country, people live like this. Then now, as I was just thinking about it, still walking through, of course, you're looking at the environment, the children,
you're just like, and you know, this place is just terrible. So as I was just meditating on it and definitely disappointed, I'm telling God, this is the best place you can bring me. Young kids ran towards me.
Allah.
Teacher, teacher. And I'm like, hey, teacher. Then I just kept on moving. Then they came surrounding me. Wanafanana vile wanafanana. And in my mind, I'm just like, you mean people live like this? Even at the worst, Mrs. Osogo angetufikisha hapa. You know, my mom, I call her Mrs. Osogo. I'm like, angetufikisha hapa. So when they came, I just said, look, God, I'm not happy. I'm angry, actually. Yeah. So why would you bring me here? Yeah. But I had 10 rackets. So I said, it's okay. You know, what is the worst thing that can happen? Let me just teach them. Well, I started teaching those children. Tell me talent. I forgot the environment. What? I forgot the issues that they had. You know, it's raining. Sea were all over. And I'm just like, no, it is me who will be picking these balls from this environment. But I said, you know what? What the kid did, you know, my heart just lit up. And I started playing with them and playing with them. And then I finished, and then they asked me, utakuja tena? Then I said, yes, I will. Then the following day I went. You know, I was just going there one day. Yeah. Then I went. Then sometimes I'd even come with the tennis rackets. Now I'm not, I don't need anybody to escort me because I'm feeling confident. At least they're seeing me. And then I'd meet young men asking me, yani wewe umeamua tu kwa hii maisha yako ukuje tu hapa? I said, yeah, yes, hapa ndio nimeamua. Okay. Then I just passed. They're telling me that wakivuta bangi, wakifanya vitu zao. Wow. Ensure that this is not a place for somebody like you. Yes. Then with time, when I'd sit at the pathways, we just use the pathways because tennis is not a game for the slum people. It's for the elite. Yes. So I'd sit. Then with my rackets, nakuja tu mapema, I sit. Then kids are passing. Like shika hii. Then they, you know, kids, anything. Sports, I mean, something they can play with. Then it attracts them, so wanakuja. Then with time I was having a lot of kids. Then I realized, okay, the space is a pathway, everybody's passing, and, you know, what can I do? Then I discovered that some of the children come in school uniforms. So I said, hata huko ndani kuna mashule? I asked them. They say, yes, tuna shule. Yangu inaitwa, yangu inaitwa. And then I started now going to the schools. Like, I'm so-and-so, and I'd like to teach these children tennis. Could you guys allow me? You know. So then with that, I came up with the Zion Zone Tennis Foundation. Wow. Zion named after the Holy Mountain of God. And I said, I will give it a name that pleases and serves God. And then 2006, I had my Zion Zone Tennis Foundation. 2007, I registered it as a community-based organization. Okay. And today, Zion is still inside the slum. Wow. Yeah. Did you ever think that you'd be a teacher of children?